to begin.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Social Primate Podcast. Thank you guys for sticking around. Today's episode is pretty deep, man. I have Stephen Martinez, aka Megaman. He is the host of the Megaman Podcast, joining me today to talk about, honestly, it's a lot about personal experiences that have defined him, defined myself, and I guess overall those experiences that define all of us as individuals at some point. What it was to overcome those struggles and learning how to accept higher states of thought for our own self-growth. So yeah, it goes pretty deep. I hope you guys enjoy it. It was a great guest, great conversation. I hope to have him on very soon. And yeah, among other topics, we briefly touched base on current events that are going on right now, such as U.S. and Iran, World War III scares and the memes that have been following, so on and so forth. So it's kind of an episode that kind of talks about a few different things. Overall, I hope you guys enjoyed as much as I did. And yeah, hoping you guys enjoy the conversation. Today's music is brought to you by Destruct with his song Bulletproof Thoughts. Check him out. Great song, honestly. I think it was recently released. And yeah, follow him on Instagram, follow him on social media, find his music on YouTube. I believe it's on Spotify as well. And as always, stick around at the end of the episode for the full song. You guys would not regret it. And till next time, hope you guys enjoy.
Reminiscing on that war report tip. I was a poor kid, vandalized the block while slapping pogs up on some porches. At 14 I was introduced to trees and using torches. If God loves ugly, then my atmosphere was so gorgeous. Dirty streets, only rocking some scuffed up sneaks. If Payless was closed, me and grandma hit up the swap meet. It's everyday life, she lived it till she rest in peace. Dedicated ink on my arm so the world could see what I'm representing. Only genuine reflections, my intentions, never second guessing. Why you never see me stressing, look. And why I say that, cause I'm the one who made that. And signatures are hard to read enough, so I'ma take that. While I'm spilling these guts, you could roll up the blunt. Every process got a science, while most will shoulder shrug. Who gives a fuck, right? If people barely even
Hit the button to begin.
Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Social Primate Podcast. What's up? Episode 30. We got Megaman. We got Stephen Martinez, right?
Yeah. What's up, dude? Dude, I'm really
Megaman.
Thank you for inviting me on the podcast, man.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. This is my second time on the Super Audio Network. I mean, I'm gonna hopefully we'll schedule for a VIP podcast pretty soon. But thank you for letting me come on the podcast.
Yeah, of course, man. Anytime. You know, I came across you. I think we were talking about it briefly before this. A few months ago, I went to the. You said it was called the
La Cura
Comedy
over there
Club
at the Paramount Theater.
Yes, you know, I went. I got some free tickets, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go check it out. And then the whole time I was there, it was a great night, dude. There was hilarious people. I'm horrible with names, so I can't fucking pinpoint the names of who was there that night. But
I think it was Martin Moreno, Hooter, Cisco. I know Frank from No Father, No Problem podcast was there. Rodrigo Torres. I mean, there were some killers out there.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was a good one. You know, at some point somebody's pointing at me, and I'm like, fucking like just making a joke up like related to me, and I'm like, God damn it, I shouldn't have sat in the front, you know. But
no, I always want to sit in the middle or in the back, but if it's in the front, you know you're gonna get clowned.
Yeah, I didn't know that. You know, it's my second time going to a comedy show, so I was like, oh, yeah, I'm not doing the front row anymore.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the whole night, you know, like I mentioned earlier, all you hear is like occasionally like Mega Man or like Mega Man's here, and I was like, dude, who the hell is Mega Man? Who's his name? You know.
Well, the Mega Man that came out because that was my favorite video game in the regular Nintendo. But how everything started was I always been a hardcore podcast listener. You know, I think the first two podcasts I ever listened to was The Fighter and the Kid with Brian Callen and Brandon Schaub, and also with Joe Rogan and everything. So always been that.
The Godfather.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the Godfather. You know, so. And he I guess how everything all started with the whole myth of Mega Man, you know. Joe Rogan invited George Perez on the podcast, and Joe Rogan told George Perez, hey, you should do a podcast. He's like, for real? It's like, yeah. So I guess in a couple weeks later, I was just wanted to see if he did make a podcast. So I went to Apple Podcast search, and he made a George Perez podcast with Sidekick Eddie, producer Xavier. Xavier does the Tinfoil Hats podcast with Sam Tripoli.
Ah, okay.
You know, and all that stuff. So I quickly subscribed, binge it, you know, started hearing them. It was original. I started going to the comedy shows. When I started listening to the George Perez, he had some well-known comedians, which, I mean, now I know, but back then I didn't know who they were, like Martin Moreno, Felipe Esparza from the What's Up Food podcast, you know, and I just started hearing it. Then they had other people's podcasts, like, you know, Felipe, Martin, and I started hearing that. And George Perez invited me to the 50th episode of the Best Fan, you know, because I always give love. And I think, I was nervous. I didn't know what a podcast, like, oh shit, I hear it, but can I do it? And I was like, nah, fuck that. It was like, it was okay, you know, and plus I was like all fucking high and shit.
Yeah, it was your first time
doing a podcast, and seeing how the behind the scenes and all I get to know. It's just, I wasn't me, you know. And 2 weeks or 3 weeks later, you just had on Super Audio Network, Martin Rizzo.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he was the person that got me into the podcast game. He invited me on, and we started doing a podcast. He had a podcast called Squad by the Bell, and all of a sudden he's like, hey, you know, if you're gonna be on the podcast, you know, I should teach you how to do it from Anchor. I started doing it and all that stuff, and he teach me, and I was going to quit the podcast because I started doing it for 2 days. I'm a little hard-headed, so I'm trying to see things different, and I accidentally put intro and an episode 1 together. You know, it was like shitty. It was like only like 34 minutes. Then a week or two later, I was looking at live with Felipe Esparza from the What's Up Food podcast. He said, shout out to fucking Megaman from the Megaman's podcast. Fucking do it and follow him. Whoa, shit. That I had over, like, no, not exaggerating, over 100 messages. He's like, hey, I want to hear it, whatever. Start following and stuff like that. And I didn't know. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to talk about? Because I have no experience whatsoever. Then in the beginning, I was talking about, like, pussy and this or drama. I don't know. And it's just like, this is not for me. And
it's funny because you basically got thrown into the lion cage.
Let's see what you're made of, Mega Man. And people would tell me you should do this, but I was like, I don't know. I had one foot. I was like, I quit. Then all of a sudden, it's like, wait, let me play around with it. Then little by little, I figured it out. And then all of a sudden, my numbers over everything was dropping. It's like, man, if I'm going to do a podcast and I want people to know me not as Mega Man, but as Stephen Martinez, like, let's do something different. You know, I want to start over, and I started doing the Mega Man's life. You know, part 1 through 5, and talked about my life when I was little till now, and the struggles I've been through, being in a broken home, having everything, then losing everything, then having everything and losing everything, and being in redemption. You know, I was mentally abused, sexually abused. I was emotionally abused. Just everything. I was just more like a unwanted stepchild. You know, my parents were never around. You know, my dad moved on, remarried. My mom was more like a single parent, but she was working 2 or 3 jobs, so I was like alone didn't have that father figure. And you know, a lot of the times, you know, I was, you know, I was left alone. It's like, what am I going to do? I mean, I have no support or whatsoever. So that's where I started doing the Mega Man's Life, for a lot of the listeners and everyone to know, to get to understand my journey of what I've been through from when I was little until now. And so that's why I feel like the Mega Man's podcast is like, it's like a redemption podcast. You know, I had everything. I lost everything. Now I got my life back together again.
Damn, dude, that's fucking deep. I had the chance to listen to your life parts. I think I went up to like part 3. Dude, it was interesting, man. Because you know, at least from other podcasts that I've listened to, I know, you know, every podcast kind of has like their own thing. But what you barely hear is people talking about them, like what's really going on, like the honest part of yourself, you know? So that's what when I started hearing it, I was like, oh damn, dude, this guy's going pretty deep, you know, internally, you know, for yourself.
And it's hard because a lot of people don't want to open up, and you know, people might use that against them. But it's like, I don't have nothing to hide. It's like, hey, I'm not the perfect boyfriend, I'm not the perfect husband, I'm not the perfect guy, because you know, I was taught the wrong way back then. But now, how society is, you see on social media, where I'm reading books, I'm hearing audio and everything. I'm little by little, I'm changing how I see things now. You know, I was taught the wrong way when I was little. So now, being, you know, I'm going to be 40 this year, I learned so much, everything. And I calmed down my stress, calmed down with my anger. Slowly and slowly, I'm moving from the past, because, you know, it hurts, because I feel like my family and my parents neglected me, and they left me and my kids, my 2 boys, to be homeless.
Damn, dude. Well, for my question is, like, did this start happening at what point? Like, when did you come to that realization? That was it because of the podcast, or just because you're opening up yourself more?
Yeah, I was opening up. I was kind of opening myself more, because I didn't want to I need to let it out. I wanted to vent, you know, and I don't want to go to a counselor and stuff like that. So I feel like podcast to me was my Dr. Phil. You know, I want to let everyone know, like, I got to get this out. If not, it's going to kill me deep inside. So that's when I started doing the Megaman's Life. I want people to know my story. If it can help out 1 or 2 or 100 or millions of people, I'm for it, you know, and everything.
Of course.
And it's a inspiration story, but it's real, you know. And when everything happened, when me and my ex have a daughter with, we split up. Things didn't work out, you know, and she kicked me and my 2 boys, and we were couch surfing. We're living in different family places, and until that ran out, and I was like, well, fuck, we're living in our car, we were living in shelters, we were homeless, we're living in storage. There was times in the summer we're living in storage, and there'll be rats biting me and my kids, you know, and everything. Dude. And we were living in our cars, you know. We were living in bathrooms, you know. It's just, we try to hide my car from the repo. I was 2 payments behind. I had to pay. If not, where were we gonna live? Because everything changed, because me and my kids were gonna move up north, but my mom, I mean, it sucks to throw her under the bus, but she didn't want nothing me and the kids. I mean, that was our last shot for me to move over there, because I have no family over here. So she left me and my kids on the streets, you know, and that's kind of messed up when you have a mother that says, oh, I love you, but it's more like a kind of hypocritical, like, oh, I love my grandkids. Like, no, you don't, because if you did give a fuck, you would try to be there for us, but you did.
Yeah, of course.
So that's why I had to dig deep inside to get out of this hole, you know, and I was stressed out. There was times I always wanted to commit suicide.
Fuck.
Yeah, because I didn't know what to do, and plus their mother didn't want the kids, so I was being a mom and a dad, you know, and everything.
Dude, that's fucking.
It's a lot of. It's crazy, you know. But I dig deep, you know. I try to save up money, and took some money. I had no other ways. Like, what am I gonna do? Take money out of my 401k and get a loan, and I was putting application fees, $40 here, $30 here, whatsoever. Then one person called me out of like 50 or 60 you know, application fees and all, and we finally got our own apartment. And I'll never forget until this day, when we moved and got to our own apartment, everything was in the storage. The only thing we had was an air mattress and food, like cup of noodles and a microwave and blankets. We had 2 air mattresses to put it together. Me and my 2 boys were sleeping, because now we have a roof over our head. I could not fucking stop crying the whole day, because I have never had my own place since I was the age of 22.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Dude, that's fucking rough, man.
It's rough, and now I feel like this is why I'm doing the podcast. This is why, like, I got to keep on going, because my story needs to be told. My podcast needs to be told, because I'm doing this because I know a lot of people give me shit for this, because like, oh, that's corny, Mega Man. It's like, well, podcast saved my life. Yeah. You know, if it wasn't for podcasts, what would I be doing and stuff like that, you know?
Dude, no, it's true, you know, because you want to say something?
From the live feed, Jay Wolvie says, wow, sending blessings to him and his children.
Damn.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man. Yeah.
Thank you, Jay Wolvie.
Yeah.
The camera.
What's up?
But no, dude, that's fucking, you know, it's crazy, because, you know, although for sure I don't have similar experiences as you do, you know, to an extent I had, you know, I also had a child with an ex at this point, you know, and it's not the same thing as you went to close to it at all, but I can relate to that part of the experience, you know, and just feeling like you're completely powerless. And I can assume that being in your position, that emotion is multiplied like by fucking tenfold, you know. And it's crazy, because a lot of people don't want put themselves in those shoes sometimes, and they just think that things are easy. When things are not really that difficult.
And I think in a way it's hard for people to understand me, even if it comes to my ex or my lady. Well, I don't know if we're still together or not, because she doesn't understand what the stuff that I've been through. I guess in a way she can't relate.
Right.
And I always tell people, like, if you've been through my shoes and everything, how I've been through, like, you'll be like, fuck, how do you do it? And at the same time also, I was stressed out because before I did the podcast, my daughter, she's turned 3.
Yeah.
At the time, I wasn't there because my daughter, when we found out, she had a tumor in her stomach the size of a pomegranate and took one of her kidneys out. I didn't know what to do, and at the time, and we and her were just bashing heads, I couldn't be around that. So I was trying to be there for my daughter, but it wasn't. I needed to focus on me. I know it sucks in a way, like I don't want to say abandon my daughter, but it's like I need to figure out me first. I need to like be calm and let the stuff go away. I just can't be, when there's drama and there's negativity, I can't be around that.
Yeah.
I cannot. It's like, it's not
me. You gotta for sure take a step back.
Step back. I step back on a lot of people. Ever since I've been doing the podcast, it helped me out so much mentally, emotionally, and it just helped me out so much, and that's why I feel like I have to keep on going the podcast. But because this is, I feel like I'm more grounded.
Yeah.
I don't want to be doing stupid shit out there or this. I just want to keep on doing podcasts, so it would help me not be antisocial. It helps me not to have a stuttering problem.
For sure.
It helps me to make more friends. It helps me to make like a good network of other people and make good friends. I want to have good positive people.
Yeah, I think that's pretty. I think it's pretty cool, because that's actually one of the reasons why I kind of feel like I started doing it at first and continue to do so.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm not like the biggest person that will be socially, in the group and socially active at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm the first one to leave maybe sometimes, or just sit in the corner, hang out in the bag just with one person. So I'm not that type of I'm introvert, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, once you start opening up yourself to those experiences, you start meeting people.
Yeah.
You keep communication with those people. You start seeing like a network start growing on its own, and then that in itself kind of teaches you more about yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the greatest things that you can get from something like this. And again, it sounds cheesy, but
no.
You're basically creating conversation with somebody random that I it's the first time I meet you.
Yeah.
But we're kind of put in a situation where we kind of have to have a conversation, but within that conversation, we each kind of like understand each other more about ourselves, type of thing. Whether we want to do it again or not,
Yeah.
But dude, that's one of the reasons why I kind of still pursue that, and then it's a good feeling, and I think which is why when I first came across the Megaman podcast, I was like, dude, these are cool conversations. They're honest, they're real, they go fucking to a side that a lot of us try to avoid. Like, we don't want to have these conversations with ourselves. And then when you hear somebody's having them, you're like, okay, maybe it's not wrong for me to feel this way and to even talk about it, and that opens just some more things for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like every person has different paths in lives. It's the experience,
Right.
And like Felipe Esparza, I don't want to throw him under the bus, or for example, he talks about like he had a drug addiction and everything, and he got he got help from when he back in the day. Now he's all sober, now he's big, and
Homeboy
Homeboy Industry,
That's him.
Felipe Esparza.
Oh, damn, for real?
No, he got help from the guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
homeboy. Oh, okay.
Father Greg Boyle.
Holy shit.
That would drive me crazy.
Yeah, so he got help and stuff like that. So he got his life back together again. That's, to me, is like, that's an inspiration story right there. And that's what I feel like, when you have Joe Rogan or you have Felipe or whoever has, they had their ups and downs, but they got their shit together. It's like, fuck, if they can fucking do it, I can fucking do it, and that's one of the reasons why I started doing the podcast, and at the time I had one foot in, one foot out. It's like, I don't want to do it, but now everything changed.
Your balls deep.
I think in a way everything happened because I was like, I don't want to do the podcast until I went to this beer festival a while back. And shouts to Edgar from Beer Thug Life. Shoutouts to Bethel Duran, Living the Dream. Shouts to Martin Moreno. Shouts to Aaron Bennett from the Newsbender Podcast. Those 4 people gave me so much inspiration. Even Felipe Esparza and Martin Rizzo and all that. They gave me so much inspiration to keep on going. Keep on going. You need to do this, do that. Are you going to be in it? Are you going to be serious and all that? And I was like in a crossroad with the podcast. Like, should I do it? Should I not? Like, what am I doing this for?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think like, oh, I'm gonna do a podcast to make money. It's like you don't have it's not about making money.
Right.
You know, you got to get all like sponsors like Joe Rogan and shit like that.
Just to start seeing something come in.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get exactly what you're saying, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't hurt that he's a fucking comedian. You know, one of the
Yeah.
high-paid ones right now too. So.
Yeah.
But no, dude. Again, I think that's what makes the conversations. You know, I think for sure that without those, I'm not saying any podcast can't be good without having those human traits to it. But you know, every now and then you do hear something that's kind of sounds generic, sounds scripted, and you know, and I think part of it is just embracing those little things. You know, but you know, the whole conversation we were just having reminds me of this thing. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called The Hero's Journey.
Yeah.
And like the whole point of it is kind of like, you know, as you know, against we might sound cheesy here, but like the whole course of life has its ups and downs. You're gonna have your good moments, you're gonna have your bad moments, but what they've coined in here is called a hero's journey. And as you see the little man on the top, this image could be a lot bigger, but oh fuck, the other one was better.
Everything you Google.
I know.
They fucked up all this image is all about.
Let me see if I can open it real quick. View image, and let's zoom in on that. So I mean, the little guy starts, you know. So you can say that when you have your downs, you're basically where it says abyss, death, and rebirth. It's where you don't know who you are. You start questioning things about yourself or those things around you, and you can feel like either you're having those, you know, suicidal thoughts, or in how they have it in these aspects is like the psychedelic version of it. It's like you start your peak once you start peaking, you feel fucking great and everything. But when the lows start coming, you start feeling like your ego is dying. You know, your sense of self is dying, and it's considered an ego death. And then once you come back, you have like this rebirth to have a new change of perspective, and return back to the real world with all that new gained information and new knowledge, you know, and continue to better yourself at all times. So, you know, I think just hearing what you just talked about kind of reminds me of that. Like you said, when you continued Megaman Podcast, it was kind of like a redemption. You know, you took everything that had happened to you, all that turmoil, and then you somehow figured out how to turn it around, and you came back fucking stronger. You came back as a Mega Man.
Yeah,
you know?
and that's the thing, you know, with the Mega Man. It's like, and I want to keep on. A lot of people think like I have ADD because like when you're doing podcasts here. It's like once I'm in a zone, I don't know when to fucking stop. Even like other podcasters or people be like, man, you need to calm down. You're putting too much content out. It's like, well, maybe you need to step your fucking game up.
Dude, honestly, when I saw I was going through I like choosing random episodes, especially when you have a big ass catalog. I just kind of like swipe, see where it lands, kind of like a fucking roulette shit.
Yeah, Russian
roulette, pick it, just start listening to it. And then I saw, dude, you're like 100 and something deep. And I'm like, God damn.
Well, right now, I think I'm at one. Well, I think tomorrow I'm going to put an episode out for Beer Talks 40 with Janine from Annex Brewery. And she was she worked at Liberation Brewery. That would be episode 118.
Damn.
And, I don't like bragging because people always tell me, like, you did 100 episodes, like, fast. Because I did 100 episodes, like, in maybe 10 to 11 months.
Damn.
Usually with people who do 100 episodes, that takes them about a couple years.
I would say.
2 years in my 100.
Yeah.
Shit.
I've already been a year. I think like next month. I'm only 30 in.
Because there was times when I had my boys or I wasn't working that much.
Yeah.
The most episodes I ever did in 1 week was about 16.
A week?
A week, 16. Ooh. I can't even beat that still.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll be at 10 or 9 or 8, but it's a mental drain. But for some reason, I was so in the zone. And when I did 16, I was like, what the fuck just happened? I was just like, boom, 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 boom. I was like feeling it. And that's where a lot of people are like, I can't do that. Like, and plus I do overnights. Plus I take care of my boys, and plus I'm doing this and all that. Where's your time to sleep? Well, when I do an overnight night crew at my job, I'm coming up with ideas for the podcast with this episode. Boom, boom, you know. How am I going to make it good? How am I going to make this episode better than the last?
Right.
That's always been. And I think starting from the podcast, I was born with pressure.
Mm-hmm.
When you have well-known people and you have eyes looking at you since day one of the episode 1, that's
you have like
hard.
a certain like a standard you kind of have to.
And when and when you have a lot of celebrities or a lot of comedians, a lot of podcasters are eyeing you to see, let's see what Megaman's all about. And a lot of those critics or a lot of those people who were bashing on me, they're more like quiet now, like, whoa, shit, you know. You don't wake a sleeping giant, you know. And that's why I like to still be humble and just focus on one episode at a time. You know, we all want to be better in the podcast game. It's all about help each other out, you know, and everything. And that's what I want to do, you know. Like, a lot of people are like, well, you should follow your dream. Well, if Joe Rogan started doing the podcast and look where he's at now, that's my dream, you know. That's everyone's dream.
Yeah, you see the first episode and you're like, this guy, what is it? I mean, you know who Joe Rogan was at that point too, you know?
He was talking about pocket pussies and shit. That was a sponsor.
And you see it and you're like, this is not going to get anywhere. And then you fucking see now he's like...
No, I saw the opposite. I thought
you saw it? Oh, yeah, really?
I was like, this is amazing. He's talking to us live on the TV.
Yeah.
I mean, for sure the technology, but I mean, just to me, I was like, all right, this is just too goofy. Like, this isn't gonna go anywhere.
Yeah.
And then, dude, he went fucking...
He went hard. When you have Elon Musk and you had Snowden on the podcast, whoa.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders.
Oh, yeah.
Shit, that's right, yeah.
Bernie Sanders, Tosi, you know. Then you had Andrew Lang with the candidates, you know, trying to get... I have a feeling, like, I think this year, he's going to have a lot of presidential candidates coming on the podcast. That'll be good. That'll be good.
I mean, dude, I think, again, the thing is, like, he's mentioned it before. It's like, when you have, like, let's say you're a reporter, you only get minutes to talk to this person. You know, you barely get to meet them. You kind of don't know their mannerisms. But when you sit down with them for an hour, 2 hours, he goes, like, fucking 3, maybe 4 hours deep.
Yeah.
It's like you're sitting down and you're getting comfortable as fuck, you know, and the more comfortable you are, you start opening up yourself to, you know, your views, everything around you. And then that's what really gets to other people, because they can start relating to you in another form.
The episode I heard, I've been venging on, I heard it about 3 times when Joe Rogan invited Tulsi Gabbard and Jocko.
Yeah. Jocko Willings, right?
Oh, my. You heard that episode? Yeah. That was... Fuck, Jocko's deep, man.
Talked about the military.
Oh yeah,
he's a fucking.
He's very strategy. Like, you sure that's the right idea to go invade and this, and Tulsi's like trying to figure out a way to dismember like Instagram and Twitter and all that and separate it. Like, it's just it's good talks.
Yeah,
you know, and also with Dan Aykroyd too.
That
was dope, dude. That was dope.
Yeah, he has like, that's what I like about his podcast, dude. That's what kind of initially kind of gave me the idea, like, man, I could do it too. You know, I mean, maybe not to his fucking level, but you know, the conversations need to be had. There's people who want to have their voice heard, and like they're involved in shit. So you know, that's why Social Primate exists here. You know,
I think in a way, when the controversial episode he had is when he had the CEO from Twitter. And the lady who was controlling Twitter, whoever, like, you get banned in this. It was like I think the second...
They had him on twice.
Had him on twice because he had the other guy who was at the social media. He knows all that stuff, what goes on. I think that's very interesting because if you say something, you will get banned. You get 3 strikes on Twitter. And certain things you can't, you know. And even on Facebook or who knows, Instagram, you know, what happened with Alex Jones, you know.
Oh, like, right, yeah.
Like, you're banned.
He's out.
He's out.
Yeah, well, a lot of people gave him that gag, dude. He fucking... They shut him down. What was it? I forgot what was the reason they shut him down.
They said that his shit was propaganda or some shit.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It was
Infowars.
The new rule. No, what was bullshit is that model that was giving out nudes for people who donated it to Australia? Instagram canceled her account, and she wasn't even doing it on Instagram. She was doing it on Twitter.
Oh my god,
that's the bullshit apart. Anyways,
that's crazy,
there's
man.
Too many fucking bullshit. But you know, just before we start, I wanted to bring something up here. But by the people that you've talked about, you or your circle has a lot of comedians in some way or another involved, right?
Yeah.
So like talking about comedians, so I got just yesterday we got George Lopez. Somebody shared not No, somebody didn't share it. Somebody released a news like article or something saying that they're offering like $80 million
for a bounty on his head.
bounty on his head.
I
right?
saw that.
And then he says, "Oh, we'll do it for half." You know, funny. I laughed. I was like, "Ah, it's hilarious." But apparently, a lot of people think it's some serious shit that they. I think he recently today got a visit from the Secret Service or got contact from them in regards to the joke. So I mean, again, like you being in that, you know, surrounded by that culture. What is that like? Like the very fact that some people decide to they have to watch their words and things that they say.
I always say this, and I say to everyone, think before what you say.
Yeah.
You think like you need to really watch what you put on Instagram, on social media. Is like, you know, because people are gonna look at you different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because right now we're living in a very sensitive world, man. You can't do this, you can't say that. People get this, man. Where the fuck does shit come from?
Yeah.
Like, why is people fucking sensitive? Even like I always feel like with me, like people give me a hard time, like, why you always hate on millennials? Because you guys are always entitled. You guys can't know how to take a fucking loss.
Yeah.
You know, you guys fucking cry like little bitches. You know, like, man up. You know, instead of like, oh, I can't eat this because it's gluten free. Like, well, fuck it. If you get sick, you get sick. You know, like, it's just stuff like that. I just can't stand. Like, you know, like they think like they know more because they see on social media. But this is the thing. I feel like with me, I feel like with the new generation, old generation, like I have that, but they're clashing.
Yeah.
And I don't like when the millennials say, well, your instinct's dying. You know, we're going to take over. Okay, go right ahead. But when reality hits the fan, let's see if you're going to be all in. You know, let's see if you're going to be one of those go-getter survivors. And that's why, to me, I always think, like, what would happen if I was one of those, like, I had a perfect home in this, and maybe I would have been weak-minded. But the struggles that I've been through, as long as I have that mental game, I'm more humble. I know how it is to be homeless. I know how it is to be hit rock bottom, and look where I'm at now. So that's why I always feel like I can't be like that, you know? And that's why I always, like I said, I always stay humble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, with that being said, just because, you know, I'm not just being devil's advocate here, like, I was what? I'm 90.
Yeah.
So what is that, millennial? Is that I don't know what that is.
No, you were born. You were born in the 90s.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah, millennial. Yeah.
Millennial.
It might
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Baby boomers are like from, I think, like from the 70s, 60s,
Nah.
or 80s.
Baby boomers
boomers, yeah,
were
from
right
the-
after World War II.
Yeah.
And then you have the
Starting birth years mid 90s to early 2000s.
mid 90s. See, that's what I thought.
Generation
Millennials.
Z's.
Because I was born in 83, and I'm like,
Oh, it says
I'm borderline millennial.
it says
borderline.
it says to early 2000s as ending birth years with 1981 to 1986 a widely accepted definition. So technically you're a millennial, Dre.
Yeah, no, I know. That's why
Oh.
I'm sometimes in, sometimes out. But I'm like a senior millennial. Like I'm
senior,
in,
yeah,
I'm in both worlds. I'm
You have
in
some
both
age.
worlds.
I think like
That's true.
I'm thinking like a Generation X.
X.
X,
Yeah.
They say you're Generation X. Then.
Yeah. You know, that's what I'm saying. I get to go between
Yeah.
both. I get to explain to the
Yeah.
Generation X, the millennials, and millennials X. We're the middlemen.
So they say middleman.
Oh,
The
here we
GI,
go.
what the fuck? GI generation, they're all gone. Most of them.
Yeah.
Baby boomers, 1946 to
you go.
1964.
There
That's
you
what I
go.
thought it was. Oh yeah, you're right. 1960. I didn't think it went that deep in the 60s.
Look, I
64.
guess 13ers or Generation X is 1979. They're counting 1980 to 2000 as millennials.
Oh fucking 19. Damn.
Yeah.
Generation Y.
No, I get
Fuck, man. I don't want to be
Yeah,
millennial.
it was almost Generation Y, but then they went with millennials,
bastards.
and then the Generation Z is the new ones.
That's
2000.
that's the weird one. Nah, I'm kidding. They're not weird. They're just different.
Yeah, just
Nah,
it's a lot of weird things, you know.
You know, but like, yeah, I completely get what you're saying. You know, like me being from 90, you know, I've always heard like, hey, you fucking millennial. And it's like, dude, man, like, I don't even know. Because, again, I think it's your experiences. So, you know, everybody's put like in an experience, different experiences at different times. And you either grow from it or you don't, you know.
Yeah,
and
man.
it's, you know, I will hope that the majority of people do grow from it. But I think there was an episode I listened with Diosa, Vaya con Diosa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had her like months ago. Oh, you have something, Dre?
Yeah, the Ratchness says, "Damn, you have an incredible strength, brother." Jay Wolvie said, "I love being Chessie, being honest, real open heart." She says she's gonna be a fan. She says some other stuff, but I don't want to say it all.
Thank you.
And then the Ratchness says she called me a millennial. No, I'm not a millennial. And then the Mighty Paris said, peace to all the nations and all the generations. Okay.
Yeah. I completely lost my train of thought, but I think I was saying, no, it's cool, man. It's just me. I need to work on my memory skills. Diosa, yeah, I had her like a year ago. I think she was like one of the early episodes I did. But I think you mentioned something like, I think that you came to a point, I think when you were like closer to your late 30s, that you started like seeing things differently in a sense, you know?
Yeah, because reading books, audio, listening to podcasts, hearing people's points of view and everything, it made... Well, what was that?
That sounds fake.
My wife just got home.
It taught me a lot, you know, like what I was like thinking, like, why is this all new to me? Because I guess in the way back then, my family, my parents and certain people taught me certain things the wrong way. And I was like, no, that's not how you do. That's not, you know, like to me, like my dad, when my mom and my dad were married, you know, my dad was abusive. So if I was going to be married, am I supposed to be abusive to my wife?
Yeah.
Like shit like that. Just like that wasn't, no, you shouldn't be like that. Like no one taught me to show love and respect to my lady in this, because that's how my dad didn't treat that's how my mom or my dad treated each other. So I saw that when I was young. So I'm thinking like, okay, if I saw that, maybe that's good.
Yeah.
So that's
like
where
you think it's okay. And like,
yeah, back then. But now it's not. So now I'm learning as I'm going. Like now I'm learning to be a father again. I didn't know how to be a father because I was the breadwinner. I was working while my ex-wife was taking care of the kids, but she was neglecting them.
Yeah.
So now I'm being like a father and a mother now. You know, like what they say, like a mapa. You know, like what they say and everything. So I'm learning that again. But to me, I want to break this cycle where if this is where I found out. Why did my dad not show me love? Well, you go back to his dad didn't show him love.
Right.
And you go back to his great-grandpa, who, my grandpa, when he was young, he had him when he was old. So he was too old to show him love. It's like, well, my dad didn't show me love. When I have kids, I won't show him love and everything. So now I know why. And I'm quickly evolving and learning so much. And that's when I'm going to break this cycle and be a good father and be a good person and do whatever I can to make this podcast better for a lot of the new listeners. To don't be for who you are in the past. Start your day in the future now, you know, and everything.
I think it's well, like you know, I have a young son. He's 7 at this time. So I had him when I was 21. So
same age as mine.
Oh yeah.
Like I have a son who's like 19, but he has autism, but mild, but not like bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was on accident.
Damn. You know, and for the same reason, like I started off young. Dude, I was a kid. I was a kid. You know, there's no doubt about it. And to kind of get adjusted to these different, like a different mentality, because I wouldn't say it's something you're really forced into. Yeah. It's something that kind of just comes in instinct. I want to say, you know, I hear people say like, oh, what if I don't love my son? I'm like, maybe, you know, there's a chance that you might not like him, you know, or love him. But for the most part, your instinct's going to kick in. You know, you're going to want to protect. You're going to want to feel like you're the not the caregiver, but you're going to be able to be the provider, you know? And I think, you know, especially at that age, it's very difficult to kind of figure out what you're going to provide with when you can't even provide for yourself. You know,
that is a good point, but I know I'm gonna get shit for this. I hate it when you want to be in the kid's life, but sometimes, you know, the lady might use their kids against you. Well, if you don't, you're a deadbeat dad. You're never this, you're never that. Well, maybe in a way, if you would have sat down and talked to me and be like, hey, why is he not around? Maybe it's you. Maybe it's your attitude. Maybe you can't be mutual. Maybe you're still stuck in the past and you can't dwell to move on and move forward. Like, hey, if shit didn't work out with us, oh well, let's be there for our son. But the whole name bashing and this and all that, that's one of the reasons why I don't see my daughter, because of her, and because I don't want to be monitored. You know, I want to pick up my daughter and spend time. You know, I don't want to see my daughter where they're still talking shit.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah.
I don't want that shit. You know, I hate it when women say that shit. Like, I don't need you in my life. I can do it without you. You know, like, well, if my mom can do it without her, whatever, I can do it without you. I hate when people talk like that.
Yeah.
I know.
I can relate.
Oh, yeah. I hate.
But, yeah. Like, you know, for sure, you know, I think the reality things is, like everybody has to work on not being an asshole, you know, like for sure. Like we could all have asshole tendencies. Like we're gonna get the reaction to want to just like, oh damn, somebody's Fast and Furious outside. But you know, you're trying to get at the end. We want to sit down and talk like adults.
Yeah,
you know?
Some people just can't talk like adults. That's why when certain people talk to me, they have to be very. I don't want people talk to me like they're on eggshells. You know, like talk to me proper. But if they're gonna talk to me all cussy and ghetto and like all that, it's like, why are you talking to me like that? You know, talk to me, just be the cordial. You know.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to. Yeah, because it.
I know.
I get what you're saying, man. I don't even want to touch that subject right now, but
I know.
But going back to, let's just fucking bring it back to reality here. We got bombed. Well, we didn't get bombed.
They bombed us. So now
military bases in Iraq got bombed today.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier. We were talking with Dre about how we were talking about trying to decide who were our allies, and our list. I think our list is pretty small. Huh?
Back then it was a lot when the Gulf War, because you know. But now
during Iraq.
Yeah, man.
9/11.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, so for the people who've been completely under a rock and oblivious to what happened, you know, there's always been shit with Iran since like the 80s, from what I'm aware of. You know, they fucking try to go into the U.S. embassy, or they held people hostage.
Yeah.
And I think just 2-3 weeks ago, also some sort of militia went in and kind of like went into the embassy, set some of it on fire.
Yeah.
Kept people hostage for like a day or so. And next thing you know, the Trump administration goes in, sends in some drones, sends in some missiles, and kills the fucking military leader of Iran.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what to really say, because I mean, from what my understanding is that this guy's supposed to be the equivalent of like the CIA director, or like some top-notch freaking general from the military here. So it's like, dude, you kill somebody of that like fucking stature here, or that fucking level.
Like the first things first, why was he in Iraq for?
It's supposed to be a peace mission.
And that's why they said, well, we're gonna vote United States out of our country, like you know, and everything. And that's why they started going. You know, the embassy started like doing whatever they can. Yeah. Well, how do we know it was a peace treaty? How do we know that?
I mean, yeah, for sure. Whatever the government tells you, you can't really believe. You're gonna have to do your own research, you know. But I mean, that brings us to Trump admitting that he sent the hit. He was like, "You guys gotta murk him. You guys gotta take him out." And they did what he said, which is kind of, I mean, I get it, because I think some of the reports that came out said that when one of the leaders of the general came out and gave them the options, usually they have like a really fucking like low level option, and then they have like the fucking high risk, like exaggerated, like nuke him. You know, and the president gets to pick what option he wants to go with, and he went with that, which is like one of the highest ones. And it's like, dude, like
general like that, and I mean, you see people mourning for him in Iran and everything. I was looking at all day, and I was like, just eating my Jack in the Box number 7 double cheeseburger, and I was looking at that. I was like, fuck, man, and everything. And I see people mourn, and I was like, man. And you know, when we have the memes, we talk shit about Trump, or we talk shit like, well, we'll never go to war. Now we're at war, and people like, I saw someone say, hey, all those Trump reporters who was wearing those mega hats, they see you say, want to make America great again. Now you go to war now, you know, and where are they at now?
Yeah, nobody, everybody's just hiding. Yeah, I mean,
like they had the video with Kevin Hart. He's like in Mexico, "Como estás?"
Oh yeah, he's talking. He's trying to talk in Spanish.
Yeah.
Let me pull that shit up real quick. Yeah, dude, that's hilarious. Yeah, like it's funny because I mean, we were only barely a week into 2020.
Yeah,
and the new meme cycle has started. We got World War III. You see World War III memes going on. We got Australia fucking burning, like. And then, it's funny because it's right here. Let me see. I should be able to play this, right, Dre?
You could try.
Let's do a little clip.
Buenas noches, días. 7, 8. Me llamo KV2.
KV2.
¿Dónde Esteban? Como 7 y 6.
Oh, Oh my god! And then I don't know if you got to see, there was a fucking right in New Year's. I think the next morning over there was already New Year's. The Pope slapped somebody's hand.
Oh yeah, that the Japanese or Korean. Yeah, I saw that.
Dude, I thought
but he apologized.
Yeah, he apologized. He had a fucking worldwide apology. But dude, I saw it and they were using it as memes. Like they put a 2019 over her,
I think she was like a fangirl from the K-pop days. You know, the fangirls get all crazy. Japanese, the Korean girls get all crazy.
Pope Francis has built his papacy on reaching out.
This real quick.
Breaking news that there was just recently a Ukrainian plane that went down in Tehran.
God damn it!
Shit.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh fuck!
Shit's about to get real.
And forgotten.
Let's just look at the Pope slap.
But when this
right
woman
here.
unexpectedly grabbed the Pope's hand in St. Peter's Square New Year's Eve, she got a most uncharacteristic reaction. The 83-year-old Francis slapped.
Well, that's what happens, man. You can't just grab the Pope or grab anybody in general.
She's strong, man. Like she pulled him.
Yeah.
I gotta see that slap again. That's a dope slap.
Yeah, he got really
She
mad.
got a most
So he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm
uncharacteristic
happy."
reaction.
He's like,
The
ow.
83-year-old Francis slapping her hand away.
Man, dude, that's so
She
funny.
grabbed him. I want to see how that pressure was.
Yeah, it looked like it hurt him.
You think she's not gonna have him?
Oh yeah, she's not gonna get there, man. For
Damn,
sure.
so a fucking airplane went down, huh?
So let's fucking look it up real quick.
Man.
It's a Ukrainian airplane just went down.
Oh, Ukraine?
Ukrainian airplane went down, but it was right after the Iranian president made
Wait,
bail
it says
threats.
Boeing 737 carrying 180 people crashes in Iran.
Yeah. I mean, well, Ukraine and a lot of other countries buy Boeing airplanes.
Yeah, that's
Oh, Ukraine. So maybe it was maybe they were flying on a no-fly zone.
Maybe they thought it was America.
Dude, well, that happened back in the fucking 80s.
man.
That's what they.
The
that's
U.S.
what
shot down
the
a fucking airplane.
That's what the article was talking about.
It's the USA shooting.
They shot down the Navy
Iran.
shot down their plane, and then supposedly Libya shot down one of our planes, but they thought it was Iran, allegedly.
You see, yeah, Iran Air Flight 655 was a scheduled passenger flight from Tehran to Dubai that was shot down on July 3rd, 1988 by a fucking surface-to-air missile from the USSS, which is United States Navy. And they killed, I think 200 plus people on it, dude. Yeah. And it's like, what? 274 passengers died because the U.S. shot down a fucking passenger airplane.
That's crazy.
Now look at the flight.
And now,
that
today's news, just a few minutes out, Boeing 737 carrying 180 people crashes in Iran. And according to this, it was on its way bound for Ukraine, which is Ukraine is a U.S. allied or supported country at the moment. Damn.
World War III's coming, dude. Yeah, man. It's going to get crazy, man.
Dude.
you know what sucks is this fool's liable to do the draft.
Who?
Trump.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's liable to bring back the draft, and you know all those fools are down with it.
I put a funny meme and some person's like, "You're an asshole," and say, "Hey, if you want to go to war, we'll take off your child support." When that guy jumped with that knife, you gotta do what you gotta do,
Dude, man, I think for sure memes have become this culture of like some dark humor mixed with some like reality, like things, and again, like fucking the memes started going like crazy. They're hilarious, but there's like for sure like this dark part to it because it's there's some reality to it,
Yeah, man. It's just sad when you see a lot of the soldiers going to church praying before they go to war.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck.
Yeah, dude.
It went deep now. It's real now. Like all that funny shit, it's out the door.
It's even worse than 9/11 because at least then we had gun ho and we were a country as
there
one.
was like
And we had,
unison.
everybody backing us. Now it's like
It's divided, dude.
Yeah, I just feel like, man, dude, we're in scary times, and now I feel like a lot of the superpowers like China, like North Korea, like Russia, I bet you it's gonna be like Red Dawn.
Dude, I wouldn't doubt it.
That wouldn't be scary. I saw
it.
that last night. The original one with Patrick Swayze. Oh, rest in peace. Yeah, man.
Yeah, dude, that is it's definitely scary when you really start thinking about like the scope of how that reality could happen at any moment especially with any of these conflicts. Like,
imagine being invaded. They're coming from San Pedro or in LA, coming to Santa Monica.
Yeah, and I don't know if a lot of people on the West Coast are aware, but in case of any sort of strike, nuclear or just fucking like missile launch,
we're done first.
West Coast is the first one to be hit, because we're the closest ones, just based on the fucking, wherever they're from. But we'll be the first ones to be hit. Probably LA, definitely.
Yeah, man.
So Yeah, dude, it's fucking crazy, man. It's when I first heard that happened. You know, as people who don't know, World War I was basically started with that fucking Franz Ferdinand getting assassinated.
Oh yeah, and that's what the World War One with the Ottoman Empire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
with Germany, was it who was it? Was it Austria? I know Germany was packed with someone.
Yeah, they were back with who was it? Let me just
Turkey. Quick. That's the Ottoman Empire. It was Turkey.
Oh yeah, the old school one. Yeah, when they was before they fucking toppled.
They controlled a lot of the Middle Eastern.
Yeah,
you know, and all that stuff too. You know, then World War II. You know, with Japan and. You know the whole thing with how it started, right?
Which one? The World War II?
Yeah, with all the oil. They're trying to get all the oil over there in China and India and all that. Mm-hmm. So they would have Germany and Japan try to go get all the oil and everything. I think the United States stopped giving Japan oil.
Yeah.
And they were a ration they only had 18 months worth of supplies. And there was no NATO back then. You know,
yeah, of course.
You know, and that's where they went to war. And Italy wanted to make Italy into the Roman Empire, so he invaded a lot of those countries. Mussolini, but he didn't live that long because you know they didn't like that shit, and that's why Germany was like, well, we're on our own now and stuff like that. I can go balls deep and shit because there's a lot of conspiracies with Argentina too.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not a conspiracy, but it's pretty obvious. I think the reason they started, that Trump did all this. You know, he's in the process of being impeached. You know, he's about to go to trial.
Yeah.
Which, you know, who knows what's going to happen, which I'm pretty sure he's not going to get taken out.
Mm-hmm.
But now he attacks, you know, and on an election year, 2020, for people who don't know, November, that's when you get to vote for the next president.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's doing it during the election year to kind of like, you know, distract the masses and focus on the fact that we might go to World War III and he can be the only one who's going to be able to like...
Fuck us.
Yeah, you know.
It's
like, dude.
It's, you know, like if it says something like if he starts bombing like religious church or
the
whatever,
cultural sites,
he'll be charged for war crimes.
Yeah, dude, because that's illegal. That's why ISIS was being fucking pursued. One of the reasons why they were being pursued was because they're going into other countries and defacing or destroying those cultural sites, which is fucking. I think it's the Geneva laws. Like he was talking about like, oh, like you're gonna bomb our people, but we can't bomb your church. It's like whatever. So no, I don't play ball like that. They were talking about that stuff, you know, like you can't bomb a religious church or certain like mosques and everything, because they'll be all out war with the Muslims. Let's see. There's another video that kind of like made me feel a little bit more safe about not getting nuked. But let's see, we are not. Oof. It's Iran. They give a speech. We are not against. Oh shit, people. Let's see. Let me look for it real quick here. We got 10 minutes. I think it's one of these that they're just talking about how they don't want to attack the U.S. people. Like it's not about the U.S. people. No, it's about destroying their government. Their
government, yeah.
You know, and it's like. Okay, all right, cool, man. You know, just don't fucking nuke us.
I mean, sometimes I feel like if Trump wants to invade, but is it making more like United States more into like an imperialism? That's like how what Japan did when he started conquering all these China, then in the Indos and all that stuff. That's why I feel like you gotta feel that shit. It's like imperialism. It's like, is there something why? Because it's all gonna be about oil.
Yeah,
you know?
Of course. Yeah, that's why they're big buddies with fucking Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
You know, that's why they're the guy who got fucking.
I don't know about Saudi Arabia. They see things. They play both sides.
Yeah, that for sure. Oh, for sure.
They have money.
Like I think it's funny how that whole assassination they did of like the guy who was a reporter for the U.S. from them. Saudi, like Genoshi or something like that. Mm-hmm. Dude, he walked in. There's a video. He walks in. He doesn't come back out, and the person who walks out of the fucking building is a different person wearing his clothes. And
it's crazy.
And it's like, dude, like how? Like, I just want to see his latest fucking 1 hour ago. Trump tweeted, "All is well. Missiles launched from Iran at 2 military bases located in Iraq. Assessment of casualties and damages taking place now. So far, so good, dude. Like, that's something to be proud of. We have the most powerful and well-equipped military anywhere in the world by far. I will be making a statement tomorrow morning, dude."
You gotta say that like, here, all is well. Missile launch from Iran. See, it sounds good. At military bases located in Iraq.
Look what he says right there. He says, we discussed trade, militaries, and oil prices. Like, what? How much the price is going to be? $5 a gallon?
God, dude.
At Arco or whatever? Security. Middle East. Ooh, gas prices. You better go get a full tank before it shit.
Get it now, people. Go to the gas station right now.
They've already gone up.
Yeah. Well, I saw the cheapest was at $2.91.
Yeah.
Or in Long Beach at Arcos.
Not here.
No, I mean that's what's supposed to happen, right? The prices are supposed to go lower.
Ooh, I wonder how many barrels and shit. Like what, $2 to $3 or $400 a barrel? Fuck that.
They're making fucking. I mean, that's the thing. That's the whole thing about the military complex is set up to be able to, keep you at war every now and every couple of years to be able to keep that fucking American system going.
Yeah, all the factories, the guns, like the tanks.
Yeah, like the steel. It's all that bullshit. And so it's all those things that the U.S. actually has to export instead of importing everything like they do.
Man. I don't know, man. If he gets reelected again, man, I mean the economy is doing good. But there is a homeless problem. That is something.
That's for sure.
You see a lot of that shit, but man, dude, if we go to war again, fuck, man, we're gonna be in the biggest deficit. Then our kids we have to pay that. They have to pay that in taxes when we're not here on Earth.
Both of you guys think World War III would happen?
Honest opinion? I think so.
What was it, Dre?
50-50.
50-50?
I think it's a 50-50 chance.
Who do you think was going to bend down first, Iran or U.S.?
What do you mean?
Somebody's going to have to say, okay, let's just make a deal. And then...
Oh, I don't know if there's going to be a deal. But you're saying that if there's going to be World War III, I think it's possible. It could kick off by accident because it's happened so many times. They bombed the wrong spot, killed the wrong person. And
I feel like us right now, United States is very fragile because... we spend so much on the war fighting in Iraq and in Afghanistan, and we don't have the resources, we don't have the money for it now because now, like I said, Red Dawn, they can invade us. This is a perfect time to invade.
I think it's kind of crazy too, right? I think last week, I know Africa. There's a lot of there's a big movement of militia and fucking
in Congo.
There's a huge group that nobody really talks about. In fucking Africa, and they've been attacking U.S. bases. So, dude, the moment Africa decides to we're gonna go against these guys too, they're gonna take control of that fucking
crazy, man.
Continent again.
It's man. It's a lot because little by little, if you see a lot of the countries on top are moving down, where all the Muslims, they're trying to make everyone as the Muslim countries and stuff like that. So that's why you have South Africa and a lot of Angola, then Zimbabwe and everything. They don't want all that stuff. They just want to live life, but it's right now we're living in really scarce times. A lot of bombings. A lot of what happens if we can be here and start bombing, dude? Anything suicide bombs, crazy shit. It happens a lot over there in England too.
For sure, man. That's what I know. I mean, I guess whoever stays on top of it is pretty good at their job. But to this point, since 2001, since 9/11, I'm surprised there hasn't been like some fucking crazy suicide bomber shit. I know there's been bombings and stuff, but for somebody from the opposite kind of shit coming in, I mean, I think the fucking marathon. No, that wasn't really part of a
Boston Marathon
political thing.
Kind of more
that was a terrorist attack.
Terrorist attack.
It was a terrorist attack.
Boston Marathon. Yeah, that was a terrorist attack.
Yeah, but even then, people say they were set up. They were working with the fucking CIA.
Man. Do you feel like us? Do we feel like the United States is more like imperialism?
I would say, yeah, man.
Now,
Japan it's hidden. Was? Yeah, it's
but very.
I mean, not to that extreme. I wouldn't think. Yeah,
because Obama had a lot of drones.
Yeah.
But now I see it more like Trump. We're going to war because of fucking Twitter.
Yeah, dude, this guy doesn't know he doesn't know how to shut up. Every now and then. Yeah, he doesn't. I don't know, but I would think you say more by just keeping it in your circle and acting on it and type of
fuck.
I don't know. That's just me.
It's crazy, man. Crazy.
Yeah, dude. We got 3 minutes here.
It's all good.
Dude, it was a great conversation, man.
It's deep. Hey, I just want to say thank you for letting me come on the podcast, man. It's deep talk.
Thanks, man. I mean, again, thank you for coming out. I really appreciate it, and I hope it's not the last time we talk. And
I'll probably get you on my podcast. Have you on.
Sweet. Stay tuned, people.
The mighty Paris wants to know what you bumping in the whip most frequently lately.
To who? Either of us?
Yeah,
both of us?
What do you mean?
To like I guess the music, right?
Music you bump in
my car. All right, cool, man. I'm like out of the lingo, dude.
That's all right.
You know what music I was listening to on one of your episodes? Those two girls singing Soleta.
Oh, dude, yeah, it's like
I
some
was hearing
disco
that all
god
last
shit.
night. I was hearing that all last night, like
Yeah.
20 times. Like, that's a good beat song.
Dude, that's a badass song. Yeah.
How'd you find them?
Instagram, dude. They just popped up in my feed. I
That was
followed
a
them.
good song.
Dude, and I listened to it. I'm like, hell yeah. I think it's a call song. I think she's called Soltera.
Yeah.
The song is called In El Club or something.
I heard it and I was like, that's the perfect outro song. I was like, and I like it's like, where can I find it? I look like, hell yeah, he put it on.
Yeah.
And I've been listening to it like all night.
Yeah,
But I listen to a lot of indie and like A$AP Rocky and stuff like that, you know, like a lot of indie music. You know?
Okay.
I'm more of an indie guy.
Yeah, same here. If anything, to answer that person's question, I've been listening to a lot more like dark post-punk music. If you want a recommendation, the band's called The Soft Moon, and the song's called Lost Years. It's kind of like Soltera type song.
My cousin has a band, a punk band, well known called Dead 77.
Ah, okay. I think
And
I've heard of
I
them.
listen to the, you know, the old school Theatics and stuff like that, you know. Yeah, and
there you
everything,
go.
yeah.
Just add that to your playlist.
Yeah.
But I do thank you again. If people want to find out more about the Megaman Podcast or about yourself, where can they follow you?
They can follow me on Instagram at the Megaman's Podcast and my personal page at Megaman6980. I will be taking a couple months off. We got a minute. I will be taking a couple months off. I'm gonna redo the podcast. I'm gonna handle the social media, you know, Facebook, Patreon, Periscope, like the whole 9 yards. And plus, I'm gonna get more heavy hitter like guests to come on. I'd love to have you on, Eddie.
Dude, anytime. Let me know, and I'm honored.
Yeah. And we're gonna take it, you know, to spend time with the family and all that stuff. And you know, we're just like I said, I'm gonna take one episode at a time, and it's all about networking. It's all helping each other out.
It's exactly, dude. That's what. If we're not doing it together, dude, we gotta start working together.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Everybody has to rise up.
Oh yeah.
But thank you again, dude. Thank you so much. And for everybody listening, check out the Megaman Podcast. And we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks.
All right, later, guys.
Thank you. Peace. Dre, thank you again. Always.
Great, thanks.
Look, reminiscing on that war report tip. I was a poor kid, vandalized the block while slapping pogs up on some porches. At 14, I was introduced to treason using torches. If God loves ugly, then my atmosphere was so gorgeous. Dirty streets, only rocking some scuffed up sneaks. If Payless was closed, me and Grandma hit up the swap meet. It's everyday life. She lived it till she rest in peace. Dedicated ink on my arm so the world could see what I'm representing. Only genuine reflections, my intentions. Never second guessing why you never see me stressing. Look, and why I say that, cause I'm the one who made that. And signatures are hard to read enough, so I'ma take that. While I'm spilling these guts, you could roll up the blunt. Every process got a science, while most will shoulder shrug. Who gives a fuck, right? Your people barely even showing up. No conviction in your heart, you might as well just pull the plug.
We all have turning points in our lives. Most of the time we can't see them until they're in our rearview mirror. I'm here to tell you this is one of those moments.
Now as I transfer the rhyme till it's Optimus Prime, tuna on the beat, so I stay Jurassic with mine. The jungle is real, these bars got no plastic design. Check the panel and it be matching what be up in the mind. Bulletproof thoughts, the title I just dropped in the line. Peep the credits and get the message what a pen couldn't write. The paperless sage, with black mirrors surrounding your sight. Faking the funk, scratching the surface when you grabbing the mic. See, there's a difference in what you're willing to get you some shine. I've been realer than ever, maybe what I never been signed. But no worries, I kick the truth guaranteed every time. And while supplies last, get it for just $3.99. So as I'm spilling these guts, you could roll up the blunt. Every process got a science, while most will shoulder shrug. Who gives a fuck, right? Your people barely even showing up. No conviction in your heart, you might as well just pull the plug.
Every intersection offers several possibilities. You just have to pick the right road. Sometimes those choices have to be made quickly.